Aloha, this is my video response to the decolonizing conflict resolution. I was watching the video about the talking stick, and I really liked the points that were made in it. So I'm going to talk about a couple of points that I really liked. He was talking about how there's a transforming, you're transforming energy in this technique used with the talking stick. And I think that's a really awesome phrase to use, this transforming energy, because it's not necessarily solving a problem or going in and fixing things. It's transforming the energy that is there between the two people. So I think that's a really awesome point that he made. Also, he was talking about how when you have a stick, you have to explain your point completely until you feel that you have been understood. Not until someone else feels that they understand what you're saying. It's until you feel that the other person understands what you're saying. So I think that's also a really cool point to make. Also, he talked about how you have to listen with empathy, and I think that's a really important thing to do, because if you don't listen with empathy, you can just say, oh yeah, and not really actually listen to what the other person is saying, which doesn't get you any closer to conflict resolution. Also, he was talking about how it's a way to, it's communicating their worth. And I think that was really an awesome idea as well, because when you're listening with empathy, you're communicating that they're worth something, and they're worth your time, they're worth your effort to listen and try to understand them. And I think that everyone just wants to be understood, and so it's a really important thing to do, is to just try and listen and understand what they say, but not just listen, but with empathy and understanding, and really wanting to be there. And I think that people can pick up on that. Like, if you want to be there, if not, they will pick up on that. And so it's a different type of listening that takes place. The question is, if I could adapt any or all of the indigenous techniques, what forms of mediation would I use, and what ideas I would take from them? And I think the main idea that I would take from an indigenous approach is that they treat conflict more like a community thing and not just a personal thing. Like, I feel like it's not so much like, oh, this is your issue, like you have an issue with this. It's like, this thing that is occurring is affecting our whole community, and recognizing the effect that that conflict has on people around you and on your life and your relationships with other people, I feel like is a really important way to help get people out of the box and to solve conflict. Just because if you realize that you are not just affecting yourself and the person directly in this conflict with you, if you're affecting your whole community of people around you, it makes you more willing to work through the conflict and to resolve it, in my opinion. Also, I like the fact that everyone assumes responsibility for conflict resolution. It's not a blame game in the indigenous techniques. I feel like it's more like you own it. You own the conflict, and you say, okay, this is something that I am going to personally try and work through so that I can help everyone in the community, if that makes any sense. Also, I really do like the talking stick idea, and I think it sounds kind of elementary. If you think about it, it kind of sounds like something you do with the little children, like he gave an example of you do it with your kids. But I feel like sometimes we do have to go back to those just really basic and elementary things so that we can get to know each other on like a more personal level, I guess, and to get to like really see who the other person is. And so I feel like that's something that I'm going to integrate into my mediation style, I think, is the talking stick. I don't think it's necessary in all situations, but in situations where the person feels misunderstood, I feel like it'd be really, really useful. So yeah, I really like the indigenous techniques as described in the reading a lot better than the Western techniques. But as I said in my other video, I really do feel like everything that we've been learning in our peace building classes has related more so to the indigenous techniques, more so than the Western described techniques in this reading, because we focus more on the relationship and not linear conflict solving. It's more of like fluid, transformative mediation and transforming people in the relationship and energy, and so things like that. And so yeah, I'm really excited to further develop my mediation technique, so thank you.